You're welcome once again to School of Prayer with Pastor Micheal of Prevailers Assembly. Learning how to pray, how to get answers to prayer. In the series of Prayer of Agreement, we've been considering different aspects, and today we want to talk about if we really want to pray, we must mirror out, emulate Jesus' example of prayer. And indeed, Jesus did engage in prayer of agreement. He did. When he came in his lifetime, though he could pray on his own and get answer, being the Messiah, but because he understands that there is a concept of the prayer of agreement, he engaged in it. And we can see from scriptures in Luke chapter 11 verse 1, which is the anchor scripture for School of Prayer. Luke 11 verse 1. And it came to pass that as he was praying in a certain place, when he ceased, one of his disciples, that he took a lot of his disciples along. And we know he always go with Peter, James, and John. Okay? One of his disciples said unto him, because he took them along to pray with him, he needed them to agree in prayer. One of his disciples said unto him, Lord, teach us to pray, as John also taught his disciples. So we can see from that place that Jesus really engaged in prayer of agreement. He didn't just pray alone all time. No. There were times he has to take one or two or three of his disciples alongside with him to engage in prayer. And that is why we know that prayer of agreement is so important. We can't do without it as a Christian. No matter how effective, no matter how potent your personal prayer is, there is need for you to engage in the art of prayer of agreement. It's so important. Now again, in the same book of Luke chapter 9 verse 28. Luke chapter 9 verse 28. We saw clearly from that place in verse 28, Luke 9 verse 28. And it came to pass, about an 8 days after this saying, he took Peter, John, and James, and they went up into a mountain to pray. And as he prayed, the fashion of his countenance was altered, and his raiment was white and glittering. That's Jesus. He went with Peter, John, and James to pray. Prayer of agreement is so important. Jesus Christ actively engaged in the prayer of agreement. He taught about the prayer of agreement. He also engaged in the prayer of agreement. So we need to emulate his style. Also, when it was time for him to get to the cross, to fulfill his purpose here on earth, he needed the synergy. He needed the effort. He needed the team of prayer at that time that was quite crucial for him. And he needs to engage in prayer of agreement because he knew that at this time